All right, on the big debate this evening here on Viewpoint, Mohan Vishwa is spokesperson of the Karnataka BJP, Lavanya Ballal, spokesperson of the Congress Party, Arun Anand is a consulting editor with First Post, R.K. Upadhyay, senior journalist, and T.R. Prasad Gowda, senior leader of the JDS, will also be joining us. Mohan Vishwa, let me start with you. We've seen a series of Savarkar-related incidents in Karnataka in the last week or so, from what happened in Shimoga, what happened in Mangaluru, and now no less than BS Yediyurappa flagging off a Savarkar Yatra. The question, though, is, are you doing this to polarize the electorate? Is this the most important issue going into the 2023 election? And the accusation, you heard from Kumaraswamy also just a moment ago saying that the BJP is keeping this issue alive to spoil the atmosphere in the state ahead of elections. That's what he said.
See, Saka, who started all this thing? It's none other than, again, the Congress or Siddaramaiah. Okay, so you can see the reaction of D.K. Shivakumar also, or some other senior leaders also, who are not reacting as much as Mr. Siddaramaiah. Even Congress don't want this issue. Mr. Siddaramaiah, who always wants to be in the news, and in the name of secularism, this is what he has been doing when he was in power between 2013 to 2018 also. Same thing he continued now. See, we take from where it started from Shimoga. When he went to Shimoga, how can he say that Savarkar posters cannot be put in any Muslim area? So at the same time, he calls himself as a secular leader. If he's a secular leader, he shouldn't have made that kind of comment. So when he made that comment, then later on, the right-wing activists and all, they started protesting it. Then it would have been stopped there itself. Post that, what did he do? He wanted to plan to go to, Madikeri, where the Madikeri people, poor people, they hate Tippu Sultan to the core. And Mr. Siddaramaiah is the one who started Tippu Jayanti when he was a chief minister. There was no such concept before Siddaramaiah becoming a chief minister. So even after knowing the fact that, the Madikeri people hate Tippu because of his cowardness, because of his mass murder of Madikeri people, Siddaramaiah went ahead there. There he faced some sort of retaliation, which is wrong. Nobody for that matter shouldn't have thrown any egg or something, whatever, when he was traveling in the car.
Sure.
But at the same time, you should understand that he should respect the emotion of those Madikeri people who don't like Tippu Sultan.
Okay, let me ask Lavanya Ballal. We know that this is what has happened over the last 1 week, but Mr. Mohan Vishwa is right. If Siddaramaiah did not make that comment about why should Savarkar posters be put up in Muslim areas, first of all, we should not be deciding, whose posters should be put up where, depending on, what the majority population in a locality is. And secondly, after having said what he said about Tippu Sultan, to go to Madikeri and he faced that black flag protest and egg protest and so on, no one is condoning the violence. But the fact is that the people of Coorg, the Kodavas, have had a long-standing problem with Tippu Sultan and the violent history that Tippu Sultan inflicted on the people there. So if Siddaramaiah, brought this upon himself, why are you then blaming the BJP? Lavanya.
The question was for me, Zaka.
Yes.
Good evening. The question right now for me is, I'm a little mystified. What is the point of the entire Savarkar Yatra that they're doing? Because in Karnataka, we have multiple freedom fighters, right from, Abbaka Devi or maybe Sangolli Rayana, Kitturu Rani Chennamma, maybe recently, like we had Kamala Devi Chattopadhyaya, we had Karnataka Sadashivra, we have multiple other people who are part of, the freedom movement from Karnataka. Alur Venkat Rao is a guy who fought for the unification of Karnataka state. It would have made a lot of sense for any party which wants to see a united India, a united state, to have yatra about such people like Alur Venkat Rao, who's actually worked for the unification of Karnataka or Ekikarana of Karnataka. So I really do not understand what is the purpose of this entire Savarkar Yatra and what is Savarkar's connection to Ganesh Chaturthi is something that I fail to understand.
No, the contention, ma'am, by people like Mr. Mohan Vishwa is that whenever Congress has been in power, you've never given pride of place to Savarkar. You've distorted history. You've made him into some kind of a villainous figure. What they are doing is correcting a historical wrong.
I am sorry, Zaka, I don't know what you were talking to me because there's a little bit of audio problem.
Sure.
I reiterate my point. What is the connection to a religious festival like Ganesh Chaturthi and Mr. Savarkar? I think there is no logical explanation of the connection between the two of them. Zaka, if you're aware of this connection, please educate us.
Okay, let me ask Mohan Vishwa. I don't know what the connection is. Mohan Vishwa, what is the connection between Ganesh Chaturthi, Ganesh Utsava and Savarkar? Why are Hindu organizations insisting that every pandal in Karnataka should have a Savarkar image along with the idol of Lord Ganesh?
See, Zaka, probably she has to read the history properly. Mr. Savarkar was inspired by Balagangadhar Nath Tilak. You know, he was the one who started the Ganesh festival in a, in a mass manner in 1893, just to consolidate all the people to fight against the British. So that is the basis for this. So Savarkar was admiring Balagangadhar Nath Tilak, and he was taking the advice of Tilak. You know, this is the history, or this is the connection between Mr. Savarkar and Ganesh.
Okay, Lavanya, you heard the connection, you heard the historic, once again, you heard the historic connection. Now please, that's why Hindu organizations are asking for Savarkar poster along with the Ganesh Utsav celebrations.
Yeah, they are asking. Okay,
Lavanya, yeah. No, one second, let Lavanya respond. You made a point. She asked a question, you responded, let her now respond, yeah.
My question is, Mr. Savarkar is a political figure, and this is a religious festival, and they want to bring in Mr. Savarkar into the religious festival. Now, my question is, why isn't Alur Venkatrao, who worked for the unification of Karnataka, not a figure for them to conduct a yatra on?
Okay. Anyway, no, there have been yatras for other non-Karnataka figures also, freedom fighters who've come from other states. But anyway, be that as it may, let me ask R.K. Upadhyay. I think what the people of Karnataka are baffled about is, we are in 2023. Why are we debating questions of 1923 in 2023? Are there not more pressing and more important issues for the electorate of Karnataka? You have to unmute, sir. You have to unmute, please. Thank you.
But, you know, when you are in election mode, so all these issues crop up. I think what BJP is trying to do is, you know, the Congress is going after Savarkar for quite some time now, and they want to, you know, bring out that issue in more focus. Of course, you know, everybody knows Savarkar's contribution, and he was a multi-dimensional man. He was a writer, poet, politician, freedom fighter, and philosopher, and all that. But still, the Congress keeps harping on, oh, that man wrote to the British, you know, seeking clemency when he was in the jail. I mean, for God's sake, he spent 14 years in Kalapani being a freedom fighter. Even Nehru spent only 9 years in jail and not in Kalapani. So he was a freedom fighter who contributed a lot to the Indian freedom movement. And why sideline him? Okay. So now BJP is trying to tell the you know, Congress that, look, here's a very hero of Hindu society whom we should you know, project again. So that is what is icking them. I don't know why they cannot accept that Savarkar was also a freedom fighter who's worth adulation. Why, you know, demonize him? He has been demonized for the last five decades, as if he has been the, you know, the greatest Hindu warrior, and then, you know, he is much hater of the Muslims. He has been projected as somebody who is, you know, against the minorities. But if you look at his writings, he was in favor of minorities. He said, look, minorities also should stay in India, but they will not have any special rights. Whereas you compare that with what Ambedkar wrote. Ambedkar, when he wrote about the partition in Pakistan, he said the Muslim community should be entirely transferred to Pakistan, and the Hindus living there should come to India. And he was saying that, you know, we Hindus and Muslims cannot live together.
Okay,
So
T.R. Prasad Gowda of the JDS.